Hello everyone, how's it going? My name is Wade Acuff and welcome to your Photoshop Daily Challenge. Today we're going to start off with a little story. Some of you might know that I'm a mod on Adobe Live. And a few weeks ago I was modding for the Howard Pinsky. And I believe it was a masterclass number 86, approximately 11 minutes and 33 seconds. I'm ballparking here, into the stream. And Howard made a container with a background blur. And you know what? Let's just go to the video evidence. One moment, and I'll pull this up. I'm going to have to mute myself, but we'll just take a look at the video evidence, and you'll see it right down here in the bottom. Let me mute myself and we'll play it.
Resize very precisely if you hold down your something like that, keeping it nice and subtle. We'll stick with that and we'll see how that looks at once it all comes together. And then finally on this container, another stylistic choice, very optional, is a background blur. So I'm going to turn on background blur right down here at the bottom right hand corner of the properties inspector. Boop. And then what we'll want to do is make sure that it stick around for that. Maybe I'll do one or a few during.
Okay, so he made a container, made a background blur, and almost immediately in chat someone said, man, I wish we could do that in Photoshop. Well, that's what this challenge is today. There's a source file in the description below if you want to check it out. It's nothing but this prompt. We're really not going to use it, but we are going to use a couple of photos from stock.adobe.com. I'm going to go ahead and take this. I'm going to delete this layer because we don't need it. It's just going to get in the way. And I'm going to drag one of our photos right over into the image here. Let's see if it'll, there we go. Okay, work with me here. You can adjust this, hold down shift, grab a corner, make it fit to your canvas, and from there I'm going to rename this into Forest Ruins. I'm going to create a smart object by right clicking, go to convert to smart object. And then we can just real quickly, you know what? Yeah, we're going to quickly duplicate this by holding down Alt or Option on the Mac and dragging it down. We have two copies. I'm going to rename the top copy to Forest Ruins and then Blur, because you know what? We're going to blur this. Go into, with that with your blur, Forest Ruins blur layer selected. Go into filters, and we're going to make this filter by going to Gaussian blur. It's going to add it as a smart filter, which means we can edit it later because it's on the smart object. I'm going to blur this quite a lot, actually. And we can always come back and blur it more if we want to. Click OK. From there, we're going to make a live shape by selecting the rectangle tool. I'll get it right in a minute. And when you drag this out, it gives you some options. If you stay in the rectangle tool, this stays a live shape, and you can press Control or Command, and you'll be able to move it around. I think, yeah, there it goes. And once you get out of that, though, like if you click on another layer and you come back to it, if you're in a different tool, let's say we're in the Move tool, you can move it, but you can't edit it. So if you want to select it and edit it, make sure you're back in the one of the shape tools. Up here, you'll also find some options that are very similar to Illustrator. You have your basically what's Pathfinder in Illustrator. You have place, send to front, send to back, all of that, alignment tools, that sort of thing. So you can make all kinds of shapes with this, but we're going to keep it simple. We're going to leave it this shape. I'm going to get rid of our properties because we don't need that. I'm going to drag this in between our blur and our unblurred layers. And then from here, I'm going to, if you hold down Alt or Option and hover between the two layers, you get a little arrow that'll make this a clipping mask. And oh my gosh, I think we've done it. I think we've done it. We've made frosted glass in Photoshop. You know, it's kind of amazing, right? We've done it. Well, you know, we're really not done yet. We're really not done yet. There's a lot we can do. I'm going to jump in here, though. And you know what I am going to do? I'm going to say hi to chat. What's up, everybody? How's it going? Hope you're having a great Friday. Please put in questions, you know, if you have any questions. I know that today is not a community day, but if there's time, I really want to show what you guys are doing over on the Discord. And if you want to join our Creative Cloud communities, just go to bit.ly/psdiscord. And look forward to seeing what you guys can do with this one as well. If you're over on YouTube, join us over on Behance, where the real party is. Behance.net/Adobe Live. And let's keep going. We're going to make this a little fancier by using some layer styles. I'm going to pop in just so we can see. That's a little too close. It's a little bit of my, a little too close for me there. If you double click, oh, you know what? We're going to rename this first. We're going to call this info. And then we're going to double click into this. I'm going to remove all of these because, and then I'm going to reset because I want to give, oh, that was not what I wanted to do. I'm going to delete all of these. And then we're going to start with a stroke. And down here in the effects panel, oh, good. It's a Friday. Awesome. All right. In this, if you hold down, it'll pop up a list. I just want to show you guys the ones we're using for this. That's why I don't have the whole list up. And every one of these I'm going to restore to default so we can start from scratch. For the stroke, I want to make sure the size is going to be fine for me here. The main things I want to take care of first is a slightly above gray color, because I want to change my blend mode to color dodge. And I want to change, the position is set to inside, which is we want to make sure it's to the inside. If you put it to the outside, I mean, it makes sense once you start changing this around. But if you put it into overprint, that's really what we're going. It's going to keep that frosted glass look to it. And now you can really, if we size this up, and this will come in handy later too, if you size this up, you can see the real effect of it being, you know, that's to the outside, this is to the center, so you get a little bit of half in, half out. But I don't want that. I want it to be on the inside at about 4 pixels. And then from there, we're going to add an inner glow. Add an inner glow to this. Restore to default, just so that we're starting from scratch. I do love some color dodge. We're going to keep this at color dodge. The biggest thing here for me is keeping the choke settings low and like bumping up the size of this all the way to max for me. Just take it to the limit. And then we're going to change. We're going to add another style. It's going to be the color overlay. And I don't want to put this one to color dodge. You could, but you're really going to get blown out, like really blow out the image behind it. So I'm going to leave this at normal, but I want to be able to see through it. So I'm going to change the opacity. I'm going to set this way down, and you can do it to taste. And you know what? We may have. I'm looking now. That blur may be a bit too much. We'll bring it down. But this next one, sorry, Howard. Howard probably would not approve, but yes, we're going to add a drop shadow. I may not use it. I just wanted to show you that it's an option. And there are a couple of settings here that I'm looking at. Multiply is fine. I don't want to mess with the angle. I want the distance to be at 0. I want to move up the spread slightly and affect the size, because all I'm doing is trying to give it a little bit of just push the info panel out a little bit. I'm probably not going to use it, but I wanted to show you guys what it looks like and you know, how it could be used. It also depends on the photo or whatever image you're using behind it. It may not work as well, but we can click OK. And real quick, I just want to adjust this blur so that we can take it down just slightly. Okay, I'm going to also pop back out so we can see our full. Yeah, them's fighting words to Howard, Val says. It's true. It's true. If you've ever been to an XD masterclass. So now we have our info. I'm going to turn the drop shadow off, but you can see it kind of, you know, working there, trying to work. I'm going to lock this top layer and then not grab the right layer. Now I'm going to grab the right layer and move this over. And then we can add some info to this with the type tool. Press T. Make sure you are not on your info layer or your rectangle, because it'll try to add it to it, add the text to it. So I'm going to select this layer now. I'm just going to pop in. I'm going to change this to Forest Ruins. Let's see if this fits. It's not quite right for us. I'm using these smart guides, the little purple line. I don't know if you see them popping up. It doesn't look like it's showing up in my preview, but trust me, they're there. I'm not sure why they don't show up, but and I do want to take this down a little bit. I'm going to back off too. I like to see my compositions from a distance, but I'm going to jump into the character panel. I want to make sure this is selected for center. I'm going to pull this over, realign to center, somewhere in there. I'm going to make this slightly smaller. You know what? We could just make this slightly bigger. That's what we're going to do. Okay. So then hopping back onto our type, I want to show you guys one little thing. If you're in the type tool and you want to adjust the tracking between certain spaces, like I do here, you can press down Alt or Option on the Mac and hit your arrow keys to adjust the tracking. And if you wanted to adjust leading, you could press up or down, but we're not doing that in this case. And the next little thing is back to the type tool. I'm going to click and drag out a box. Yeah, the font, I see you guys talking about the font is Wayfinder, and it is on Adobe Fonts. And I'm just going to drag this out. It's going to give us some lorem ipsum. I'm just going to grab a new font. This one is Cambria, I think. And this is not a font usage class, but I'm just kind of getting us some filler type. And I'm in here adjusting this to taste. And hope that you would do the same. Auto, let's see, maybe. I don't know. Somewhere in there. That's probably a bit too much. Let's see what it looks like. It's fine for our purposes. We're good with that. So now you have a little bit of you know, something going on here with some frosted glass. I think it's pretty cool. But I want to show that there's a little bit of a couple of bonus things here, a couple of things more we can do to this. One is, let me unlock this before I do this, but if you pop into your smart object, I'm going to reach up and I'm going to drag in another, I'm going to attempt to drag in another image and drop this onto the canvas, wait for it to load up. Size it up, holding down Shift, pulling this up. We have a cool another little path. This is also from Adobe stock.adobe.com/free. And when you close this out and save it, it automatically updates everything. You still have your frosted glass, which you can move around to where. Hello. Oh yeah. Quick to mention, because this does have a clipping mask on it. If you want to grab these and move everything together, you select the layers by just clicking on them and then holding down Control or Command on the Mac. Grab them and then link layers, and now when you grab one of them, you can move them all. So you can put your little info placement somewhere else if you'd like, and you can have as many images as you want to in there. That's fine too. But that's not all. We could do something else that's really cool. This is a little bit, I find it to be fun. It's going to take the same thing that we just did, but then really kind of reverse it all out. Let me hide this. I'm going to use the history panel. I use the history panel as my personal undo caddy. Like, it has, I will oftentimes just find the last state that I want it to be, the image to be at, and I'll click it. We're not going to use it for that today, but we are going to use this create new file from current state, just so we can keep the other one untouched. Actually, I use this myself a lot of times when I'm painting or drawing or doing whatever. If I don't want to touch the original comp and I just want to experiment, I'll pop off into a new file. And so that's what we have here. We're going to rearrange this, and we're going to make something I think that's pretty cool. I'm going to go ahead and just trash our text here. I'm going to hide this rectangle, and we're going to mix it up. I'm going to unlock this top layer, take off the clipping mask by pressing Alt or Option and then clicking between those. I'm going to drag the blur layer down below the unblurred layer. I'm going to jump in, because I like this other image better for this. I'm going to jump into our file, change it back to this one, close this, yes. So now we have this, and then I'm going to make a ellipse using the ellipse tool. Grab this, pull it up. Didn't want that. There we go. Now I can move this ellipse tool if I need to. I'm going to place this ellipse tool between these, just like we did before, and I'm going to make a clipping mask again, and this kind of does the exact opposite. We have the frosted glass, but what I want to do with this is I'm going to make this look sort of like a lens or a magnifying glass. And by it's not quite what it will do, but you'll see what you'll see what happens. We'll make this larger, move it over slightly, press Enter, and you can see where it's going. I think if I grab this, you can see that oh yeah, this is where we need to adjust the blur, because it is way too much for this effect. You want to just have it start to blur out, maybe right in there somewhere. But we can use the, and I'm going to name this hashtag name your layers. I'm going to name this layer lens. But then we can copy or drag over from our original info, our little info rectangle. I'm going to grab the stroke and bring it down to the lens. And then I'm going to grab the inner glow and bring it to the lens. And then on top of that, I'm going to double click in here so I can edit the stroke. And this is what we were talking about before, where we can size it up, turn off overprint this time, give us a little bit of a lens effect, something like that. And then you can just grab this. I don't know what you would do with this, but you could make it look like it's magnifying or finding an image. If you wanted to take this to the next step, excuse me, you could animate this. Now it doesn't work as you get towards the outer edges because the image is so far off by that point. But it'd be kind of cool if you had like a map or something like we've done before, and you kind of say, oh, let me zoom into this. Yeah, like Val says, like nature info posts, you zoom in on a bug, exactly. Like find, the forest ruins beetle, and there you go. But that's about it for what we want to show today. I think we're going to hop into the Discord just to see what you guys are doing. It's really something to see everybody participating. And again, if you want to participate within the Discord, let me make sure I'm in the right Discord. Yes. You can go to bit.ly/psdiscord, and I mean, everyone's just crushing it over here. We've got I don't know. We've got tons of stuff going on. All of these are awesome. You can see our composition from yesterday. Ted is throwing in bonus info with atmospheric perspective videos. D-Human is throwing it down with some taking the challenges to the pro level. It's really cool. And I'm really glad some of you guys have taken that map challenge and added different landmarks, like adding the text, adding the roads, all of these things. I love seeing the overlay of the thirds on this. And just even trying these things, or sometimes just the initial push to try these is really cool. Like I said, Ted is all over the place. We see a lot of our friends in here, actually. And check it out. Here There Be Dragons. Yes, very cool. This is D-Human's map, and we'll do more of this next week for sure. On Friday. Look at that. Look, Frank is throwing it down as well. Look at this. That's super cool. Oh yeah, lots of Coolios and Woolios. I want to shout out and see if I can find those. Did we pass those? Yeah, here we go. Woolio should be a real thing. I agree. It's not such a bad idea. Let's see. Yeah, even past challenges are showing up, and I like to see that too. Just make sure I'm not missing anything. But we'll come back to this, and hopefully by next week we'll have even more from next week's challenges. But yeah, thanks everybody. I hope this frosted glass effect is fun for you guys. I hope to see what you guys come up with even using the little lens thing. That would be cool. I really want to thank whoever it was first I want to thank Howard too for having a cameo on the stream, but also thank whoever it was in chat. I wish I could remember your name and who said it. You inspired this this entire challenge, and that's going to do it for today. There's tons of more content coming up, master classes galore, office hours at the end of the day, more challenges coming up. But yeah, and we're here with Photoshop Challenge every day at 11 a.m. Central Time. And everybody have a good weekend, and we'll see you guys soon. Thanks. Bye.